Hello friends, I am Krishna Kanjani from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome to the online lecture series on kinematics and theory of machine. In today's session, we will learn about one of the topics of chapter number 6, that is friction, clutch and brake. So let's start this session with bearings. Now, as we are aware that any rotating shaft are frequently subjected to axial thrust, and to support this axial thrust mainly bearings are used. These bearings are mainly belonging to two categories, that is pivot bearing and collar bearing. Let's refer one of the diagram over here. So in this diagram you can refer that the first three diagrams are representing the pivot type of bearing, and the second two diagrams are referring the collar bearings. So over here, now as the pivot bearings, you can refer this diagram. So when your shaft is blind and you are directly supporting this axial thrust which is acting on this shaft, then this type of bearing which is having a flat surface is used. Then this type of bearing is known as a flat pivot bearings. Okay, but if the end surface is in conical shape, then we can refer it as a conical pivot. And the third type of pivot bearing, over there the shape is truncated shape, so that's why it is termed as a truncated pivot bearing. Now second type, that is collar bearings. Now if you are providing collar over the surface of your shaft, then it is termed as a collar bearing. Over here you can refer that the shaft is throughout and you are providing one collar intermediately which is supporting this axial thrust, then these type of bearings are known as a collar bearings. So over here the first diagram, that is single flat collar, because it is containing only one collar. If we are using more than one collar, then we can term it as a multiple flat collar bearings. Okay, now to design these bearings we have to use two different criteria. The first criteria, which is known as a uniform pressure theory. Now in this theory we will assume that the entire surface of your bearing is containing a uniform pressure over here. Okay, now when it will happen, this is the case when the bearing is new, because in initial condition, in initial stage, the surface is throughout flat, or we can say the surface is uniform, and that's why the pressure which is acting on this surface, contact surface, is uniform. But after use of your bearings, that is after some time when the bearing becomes old, so over there in that condition your surface which is in contact between this shaft and bearing, which will remove some material. Now due to worn out, or we can say due to removal of some particles, the pressure will be not uniform. It may be possible that at certain position your pressure will be high and at certain position it will be in a low condition. So in that case we have to assume the second theory, which is known as the uniform wear theory. Okay, so over there we will assume that the entire surface is having a uniform wear on its entire contact between this shaft and this bearing. Okay, so these two criteria are very important while you are designing a bearing. So let's design the first type of bearing, that is flat pivot bearings. Now as we can refer over here, so the contact surface, that is the shaft and the bearing, over here you can refer that it is a flat surface, that's why it is termed as a flat pivot bearing. Now the bottom portion over here is reflecting the front view of your flat pivot bearing, and this upper portion is representing the top view. Okay, so over here you can refer that the flat surface is in contact. Now the surface, the shaft is made up of cylindrical surface, so that's why your top view will be a circle over here. Okay, now W is the axial thrust which is acting on this shaft. So over here we can consider that W is the load which is transmitted from this shaft to this bearing surface, and R is considered as the radius of this shaft. Okay, then we can consider P as the intensity of pressure which is uniformly acting on this surface, and mu which is known as a coefficient of friction, because over here due to rotation of this shaft, here friction will be developed. Okay, so now let's consider the designs. Over here we have to consider two basic criteria, uniform pressure and uniform wear. So let's start with the first criteria, that is uniform pressure theory. Okay, now in initial condition when the bearing is new, we will consider the entire surface is in contact, is having uniform pressure. So over there we can consider that uniform pressure, and that's why we can apply the equation pressure is equal to load upon area. So over here the load which is acting on the surface is W, and the area which is the whole circle, so area of circle is pi by 4 d square, or we can say pi r square. Okay, so from this concept we can derive the equation that is pressure is equal to load upon area. Now if you want to design a bearing, then you have to consider a small segment. So over here we can consider a ring small segment. Let's consider a dr thickness of this strip, and this strip is having a small radius r. Okay, so let's consider a ring of dr thickness, or we can say dr radius, at a radius distance of r from its center. So in that case we can derive the area of this ring. So how we can derive the area? So area is nothing but a circumferential area. So over here we can consider that the circumference, that is 2 pi r, and the thickness of this circumference is dr. So that's why we can consider that area is equal to 2 pi r dr. So now to calculate the load W which is acting on this small segment, that will be considered as a dW. So over here we can consider, let's dW load which is acting on that body. So over here from this equation we can derive that the W is equal to pressure into area. So we can simply write down that dW or delta W is equal to pressure intensity into area of that surface. So over here we can put the equation of area, that is 2 pi r dr. So we can simply derive that P into 2 pi r dr. Now this is the equation for load which is transmitted from this ring to this bearing. Now after that we have to calculate the frictional resistance which will be developed between this surface. Okay, so over here we can simply write down the equation of friction, that is Fr is equal to always mu into W, because the simple equation of friction is always Fr or frictional resistance is equal to mu into W. Over here we are considering a small segment, so we are putting dW over here. Now in this case we can put the value of dW from this equation, so we can derive that the next term will be your mu into P 2 pi r dr. Now from this equation we can simplify that 2 pi mu P r dr. Now this is the equation for frictional resistance. Now with the help of this frictional resistance we can calculate the frictional torque. Now the frictional torque, or we can say that the torque which is developed between these two bodies, will be a simple equation, that is torque is equal to force into radius. A simple relation over here, so that will be used. So in this equation we will write down that the equation of torque Tr is equal to Fr into R. So by putting the value of Fr over here, so we can derive that if we will put the equation of Fr over here, so your final equation will be 2 pi mu P r dr into R. So if you multiply this R with the second R, so it will be a 2 pi mu P r square dr. Now this is the frictional torque on the ring surface for a small elemental ring. Okay, so now to derive the equation for total friction, so in that case we have to consider the integration, that is for the entire surface. So it will be integrated from the center to the radius capital R. So your final equation will become torque is equal to integration 0 to R 2 pi mu P r square dr. So we are simply putting this equation over here and integrating with limits of 0 to radius r. Now in this equation 2 pi mu p, these terms are constant because over here we have considered that it is a uniform pressure theory. So your terms 2 pi mu p will be come out and you have to integrate the r square. Now integration of r square is equal to r cube by 3. So we can simplify these terms, and by putting the lower limit and upper limit from this 0 to r limit, we can derive the equation. So if we will put the upper limit, then it will be r cube by 3 and the lower limit is 0. So your equation will become 2 pi mu p r cube by 3. Now in this equation we will put the value of pressure. Now we have derived the equation that pressure is equal to load upon area, so that is W upon pi r square. So we will put this value of pressure intensity in this equation. So your final equation of torque will become, by simplifying 2 by 3 mu into pi and W upon pi r square over here and remaining term r cube over here. So by simply cancelling out this r square from upper and lower side, so your final equation will become 2 2 by 3 mu WR. Okay, so in this way we can derive that the frictional torque which is transmitted between the shaft and bearing surface when we have considered the uniform pressure criteria, then your equation will become T is equal to 2 by 3 mu WR, and this equation is very much important for your example point of views. Okay, now second criteria, that is the uniform wear theory. Now in uniform wear theory we have simply assumed that after certain use of this bearing, the particles are removed from this contact surface. So that's why we cannot consider the uniform pressure. Now this wear is totally depending upon the intensity of pressure and velocity of rubbing, that with how much velocity the rubbing is occurring between this shaft and the bearing surface. Okay, so now over here we can simply consider that wear is always proportional to your intensity of pressure, and velocity is again depending upon the radius of this shaft. So over here we can refer that the wear, amount of wear, that is the material removed, is totally depending upon intensity of pressure and the radius of this shaft. So over here if you consider the uniform wear criteria, then multiplication of these two terms will become constant. So over here we can write down that the intensity of pressure is equal to C by R, that is the constant divided by radius of this shaft. Now we can calculate the load which is transmitted to this ring is a simple dW, that is the load is equal to pressure into area. So we have a simple equation P into 2 pi R dr. This equation we have derived in our this first criteria, that is uniform pressure criteria. Okay, so now over here we can put that intensity of pressure is C by R. So we have a simple equation where we can cancel out this R over here. So the final equation, that is the dW is equal to 2 pi C into dr. So now in this equation we have to find out the value of this constant. So over here the dW is the amount of load which is acting on this small ring. If you want to calculate the total load W which is acting on this body, then in that case we have to integrate this load with limit of 0 to R. Okay, so we can simply put the total load which is acting on this bearing is equal to 0 to R integration of 2 pi C dr. Now in this equation again your 2 pi and C, both terms are constant. So we can simply write down that the integration of 1 is equal to R. So your equation will become 2 pi C R with the limit of 0 to R. Now putting the upper limit, that is capital R, and lower limit, that is 0. So your final equation will become 2 pi C into R. So by simplifying these terms we can calculate the equation for C, that is constant, which is equal to W upon 2 pi R. Okay, and this equation we will use for the calculation of frictional torque. Okay, so now considering that constant equation, now frictional resistance, that is Fr, and we have a simple relation that frictional force is equal to mu into W. So over here we can consider that Fr is equal to mu into delta W, and over here we can put the equation of delta W, that is equal to pressure intensity into area, and which is equal to P into 2 pi R dr. So by putting this value we can derive the equation of Fr is equal to 2 pi mu P R dr. Now the frictional torque which is produced between this surface, that is for a small elemental ring dr. So we can consider that TR, that is torque, is equal to force into radius. So now putting the equation value of frictional resistance Fr, by putting this term over here we can simplify this term, that 2 pi mu P into R, that is R square dr. So in this way we can calculate the equation for frictional torque from a small elemental ring. Now again simplifying this equation, then we can simply write down that TR is equal to 2 pi mu P R square dr. Now we know that for uniform wear criteria we have learned that the pressure into radius will be always constant. So over here we can derive the equation for pressure, that is equal to constant by the radius. So we can put this equation of pressure in this torque equation. So we can derive this equation as 2 pi mu into C by R into R square dr. So now we can derive the final equation as 2 pi mu C into R dr. This is the equation of torque which is produced or which is power transmission between this shaft and this bearing surface. Now this is from a small elemental ring. Okay, so if you want to derive that is the total frictional torque between this shaft and bearing surface, so in that case we have to again integrate this torque with the limit of 0 to r. So by putting that limit over here, so your final equation, that is for total torque, is equal to integration 0 to r 2 pi mu c r dr. Now in this equation again we have now identified that the 2 pi mu c, these all terms are constant. So the integration of r will become r square, and with upper limit as capital R and lower limit as 0. Now from center to r, so that's why we are putting over here the limit from 0 to r. So now by simplifying this, putting this upper limit and lower limit in this bracket, we can simply derive the equation, that is 2 pi mu c into capital R square by 2. Now cancelling out these 2, so the final equation will become pi mu c into r square. Now we have derived the equation for constant in our previous slide, that c is equal to w upon 2 pi r. So we will put that equation in our constant term value. So we will get the final equation, that is the total torque which is transmitted by using a shaft and a flat pivot bearing is equal to T is equal to 1 by 2 mu WR. Okay, so this is a simple equation by using a uniform wear criteria. In this way, we can design the flat pivot bearings. In our next session, we will derive the equation for flat collar bearings. Thank you.